Hello again. My name is Mike. I'm a chaplain with Trinity of Christ Ministries. I'm also a relationship coach specializing in intimacy and infidelity. Today's video, we're talking about facts and reality of affairs. Now, affair partners and affair spouses, the cheater, usually have this warped reality in their mind of how things are going to turn out as a result of this affair. And if you tell them any different, they're always going to say the same thing. Not us. We're different. We're the exception. Of course they are, because they believe it. They're almost always wrong, but they're going to believe it regardless because they want to believe it. So they're going to. So to talk about a few statistics, now let me clarify with statistics. Some statistics are very little depending on the source, but we tend to get an overall picture of facts when we deal with affairs. We have lots of data, lots of statistics to tell us how these things usually turn out, how things usually go. So, of the people who have affairs, about 7% of those people will end up eventually getting married. And of those 7% that marry, about 75% of those marriages will end in divorce. They won't stay together. A lot of this has to do with because it was based in fantasy and not reality. Lots of people love the way the affair partner makes them feel, but not really about how they feel about the affair partner. So as time goes on, the truth tends to come out. We also saw some statistics that say that an affair partner, if it's the woman who leaves her husband for another man, she is about 5 times more likely to face physical and emotional abuse than she would if she was just in a regular marriage. The reason for this is pretty simple. When you cheat with another man, if you're a woman and you cheat with another man, this man has a lack of respect for you. Now, he'll never tell you this, of course. And in all honesty, he may not even realize it himself, really. It's usually done through the subconscious mind. This man will, always see you as a cheater, even though you cheated with him. He still sees you as a cheater. This causes a lack of respect, resentment, things like that, because you cheated with him. Why wouldn't you cheat on him with somebody else? What happens when you get bored with him, or the next good looking guy comes along or says the right things or whatever? So he's always in a state of, I don't know if fear is the right word, but he's always in a state of awareness that you very well may do the same thing to him. This goes for women also, but women tend not to be abusive in that way that a man is. So due to this lack of respect, this can often lead to physical abuse as well as emotional abuse. Uh, this could often manifest itself in physical abuse for the woman. And again, this comes from a simple lack of respect. He doesn't respect her. Um, this probably can't be avoided. There's no way to avoid this if you choose to go be with your affair partner. So I don't know of a way to tell you how to prevent this from happening other than hopefully you're not going to open yourself up to abuse. But if you're leaving your husband for another man, you need to realize that this is a distinct possibility that this relationship can become abusive. You're not going to believe it now because everything's wonderful. Everything still got that new car smell. Everything's still great. There's still the I love yous and the pillow talks and all this wonderful things, but it can very quickly turn around, especially once you are full time with this person, because now the fantasy comes to an end. Now it becomes reality, and reality is usually not as glorious as the fantasy. So if you're going to leave your husband for another man, you might want to keep that in mind. There is a strong possibility this could very well lead to physical abuse as well as emotional abuse. Um, Two cheaters can never, build a healthy relationship. There's an old saying, two wrongs can't make a right. And it's true. This is especially true if they're cheating on their spouse with you and you're cheating on your spouse with them. You have two cheaters together. You have two people living in fantasy land, two people, uh, denying reality, two people that are going to destroy two families. Uh, so to say you're going to build a healthy relationship with this person you're having an affair with is probably being very disingenuous with yourself. Now, I know I've already heard all the reasoning, all the excuses. Not us. We're different. We won't be that way. Right. And you're saying the same thing that every couple that was that way said. They said the same thing. Not us. Well, I mean, good luck with that because the statistics say, oh, yeah, probably you, whether you want to believe it or not, you will probably be in this percentage of people who are going to face these kind of consequences. Um, a lot of it also comes from regret. When you're in this limerence, in this affair fog, you you don't have regret. You're convinced you made the right decision. You're convinced that this person is great, that this is your soulmate. This is the person you were meant to be with, and so you don't have the regret. The regret comes later. It comes after the fantasy ends and reality sets in. This is often done when the person starts to see the affair partner as, you know, again, my favorite term, that new car smell starting to wear off. They're starting to see flaws, they're starting to see red flags, they're maybe starting to see a little bit of, narcissism, maybe a little bit of an abuse mentality, maybe verbal, maybe even start manifesting itself as physical abuse. This is very common. And this is where you start to realize you didn't get what you thought you were going to get. And once she realized this, regret just walked in. And I'm going to tell you, regret has a has a strange way of hanging around for a long time. This is normal. Uh, this is especially true if you left a good marriage. If you had a good, and people like to say, well, if it was a good marriage, they would never have cheated. Well, that's not true at all. That's a bunch of malarkey. People cheat all the time that are in good marriages. Uh, People have this warped thought process that good marriages don't ever have infidelity. That's not true at all. There's plenty of good marriages that face cheating and infidelity on throughout history. See it on a regular basis, not uncommon. Uh, but if you had a good marriage and now the reality is setting in of kind of what you got, you start getting all this regret. And we often refer to this as the Sunday night massacre, where you're laying in bed on Sunday night at the end of the week, and you're staring up the ceiling, wondering, what did I do? You start to realize what you lost. You had a good marriage, you had a good family, you had a good husband, a good wife, whatever. And the reality sets in that I destroyed everything for something that I don't think is going to last. This is very, very common. So uh, another thing is, people often believe that when they leave a marriage, they're solving some sort of problem. Now, I'm not saying that this sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but oftentimes the problem in the marriage is the person who is cheating. Now, it's kind of hard for some people to admit, but the idea is, well, if I leave this marriage and go with this affair partner, I'm going to get rid of this problem I have. I'm bored, or some other problem that they think. Oftentimes they'll realize, or at least they should realize, that the marriage wasn't the problem. They were the problem. Their insecurities, their expectations, different things that they had expected from this marriage. And they think when they go with this new affair partner, when they get into this next relationship, that those problems go away. But here's the problem with the problem. If you're the problem, that problem goes with you. That problem follows you to the next relationship. So, for instance, if you have a woman, let's just say, and I'm not trying to pick on the women, I'm just using an example. If you have a woman that says, I'm bored, that, he's so boring. We don't do these things that, we used to do, or we ever want, I want to do, or whatever. They think by going to this new relationship that boredom is going to be solved. And it will in the beginning, because it's new. So, the excitement is keeping the boredom at bay. But here's the problem. If if she got bored in her first marriage, why would you think she won't get bored in the next marriage? As time goes on, is she going to get bored the same way she did in the other marriage? There's a really good possibility, because she's a thrill seeker, and there's a good chance she wouldn't be happy in any marriage. It's what she thought was the husband was the problem. Now the next guy's the problem. So what you run into is she's not solving the problem by leaving the marriage because she is the problem. She doesn't know how to reconcile what makes her happy, what stops her from being bored, how to keep her marriage intact and fulfilling. So she believes by leaving this marriage, she's going to solve this boredom problem. But when she gets to the next marriage, it will solve it in the beginning. But once that marriage settles down and becomes normal and stable, if it does, then what keeps the boredom from coming back? Probably nothing, because she's probably going to get bored in the next marriage just the same. So the problem is not her. I mean, not the marriage. The problem is her. She brought the problem to the new relationship. That's what many people that have affairs fail to realize, because they don't want to address the problems that they have. No, it's their fault. It's my husband's fault. It's my wife's fault. They don't want to take responsibility or accountability, that they're the problem. Some people can never be happy, no matter what. It doesn't matter who they marry, doesn't matter how much money they have, doesn't matter how many people they know. It doesn't matter how nice their house is or the Lamborghini they're driving or anything else. They're just never going to be satisfied. And these people think by leaving a marriage, it's going to solve their issues. And usually it's not. If you're the problem, leaving that marriage will not solve that problem. The only thing that's going to solve that problem is by you recognizing that you're the problem and changing that behavior, changing those expectations, getting counseling, coaching, helping you change your perspective on what a marriage should be. Because a lot of people, and I'm just again using boredom for an example, a lot of people who think a marriage is boring, it's not really boring. It's stable. They confuse stability with boredom. Well, a stable marriage is boring. You have a routine. You know what you know each other. You know what each other's habits, things like that are. So you know what to expect. But thrill seekers, people that are bored all the time, they don't see this. They're constantly needing something new and exciting and fresh to keep them interested. These people have a very hard time having a stable marriage, because stability eventually comes to a marriage. And for those people, they're going to see this stability as boredom. And leaving the marriage won't fix it. It will, but only temporarily, because the new relationship is going to end up the same way. Eventually, they're going to get bored again. How do we fix it? Oh, well, we go cheat, or we divorce this person and go find someone else that's exciting for a month, a year, 2 years, however long it is. So this is the facts versus reality. A lot of times people want to think that their spouse is the problem, and they're not the problem. It's very hard to admit to yourself, because we don't want to take blame for anything. No, not me. I'm great, you know. And that's, yeah, first step is claiming accountability, taking accountability. If you have issues, recognize those issues and take accountability and go seek help to resolve those issues. Again, I'm Mike. I'm a chaplain with Trinity of Christ Ministries. Uh, if you'd like to check us out, you can find us at trinityofchrist.org. You can also find us on Facebook. This is part of our ongoing infidelity and intimacy series. And I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in the future. And God bless.